Happy Friday and happy Fridays with Fidelman. I'm Cheryl Fidelman, the Conscious Codependence Coach and the founder of the Conscious Codependence Collective. Today's topic on Fridays with Fidelman is codependent listening. So I'm going to go over today my distinction between hearing versus listening. Because most of my work right now is focused on my theory that perhaps all of our unhealed trauma can be found in the filters through which we listen. Please like or subscribe to my channel. Please comment in the comment area below and let me know what resonated with you, what didn't resonate with you, any thoughts, anything you'd like to share. And all right, here we go. Okay, hearing versus listening. I'm going to go back and forth between the two. I'm going to start with hearing. So I'm going to say that when we hear people, we may only hear bits and pieces of what they're saying, not just what they're saying, but what they mean. So when we're hearing people, we're hearing bits and pieces of what's happening for them in addition to what's going on for us. In addition to our interpretation of it or whether or not we're available to what they're saying, we're checked in, we're checked out, we want to hear it, we don't want to hear it, we're listening just because we're obligated. So when we're hearing some of what's going on for them and a lot of what's going on for us, and it's just kind of a mixture of those two worlds, and that's what we're hearing. When we're listening, we are getting everything that's going on over there for the other person while adding and subtracting nothing. When we're listening, we're hearing what I call the lyrics, the music, and the mood. We're hearing the words. We're hearing the music, which would be the intonation, which would mean their energy, how much space they're taking up or not taking up. And we're hearing the mood. So we're hearing their emotional state. And additionally, we're not making up anything about their emotional state or what's going on for them. We're not reading between the lines. We are actually getting them by adding and subtracting nothing. Now that would include giving ourselves permission to be curious. I didn't quite get the thing that you just said, or what did you mean by that? Or I'm noticing I'm making an interpretation of what you said. This is my interpretation. Is that accurate? So we have an engaged level of participation when we're listening, so that we can actually get the lyrics, the music, and the mood, and the intention behind what they're saying, how they're being. We're noticing that, oh, they just said something, I interpreted, now I want to defend myself, now I want to explain myself, now I want to agree, now I want to validate, right? There's a whole bunch of assignments that we're giving ourselves when we're actually not listening. It can occur as listening because codependent listening will give us a lot of assignments. Nod your head, say yes, don't say anything, just let them talk. Occur as somebody who's listening. Occur as somebody who's engaged. Meanwhile, you're not really totally interested in what's going on for them. So you're looking like what you're not feeling like on the inside. You're looking engaged on the outside, but you're somewhere else on the inside. And you're toying with your interpretations or when you're going to jump into the conversation, or you're not available to listen. You're actually not available to listen, but you're listening anyway and building up some level of resentment or keeping score. So when we're hearing, we are too involved. Our interpretation, our codependent ways of being, oh, I'm listening because I just want to be wanted, I'm listening because I need to be needed. Consider this, I think, is really, really, really important. Consider that when you're listening, you are leading. Consider that when you're speaking, you are leading. When you're listening, you're leading the experience for both people, and when you're speaking, you're leading the experience for both people. And it's easy as codependents to say, well, when someone's speaking, I have to listen. And so I'm actually just following their lead of the lead of their speaking. So then we wind up following people as they're speaking, and those people have no conscious intention of leading us anywhere. They may have the intention to be proving themselves and telling some sort of a story, but oftentimes when people speaking, they're not aware that somebody is listening and receiving what they're saying. So if you're being a participatory, leading listener, I'm listening, I'm getting everything that you're saying. And this is even harder in intimate relationships, when it's a partner, a spouse, somebody that you're dating, when it's a family member, because we fall into these familial roles and identities when we're speaking, when we're listening, that it's hard for us to remain aware even of the level to which we're engaged and actually notice that we have choice in how we are engaged. When it comes to family members or spouses or romantic situations, we oftentimes fall into this unconscious way of being that we actually have no choice in how we're engaged. It's like the level of engagement is already prescribed to us. So this is a massive overview of my 7-week Conscious Codependence Listening program, which is called Listen for a Living, where we talk about all of these filters through which we listen, and ultimately, the North Star of any codependence recovery program is sovereignty, and I add to that in my work, and to say that the North Star of any codependence recovery path is sovereign listening. We are listening as an independent being, witnessing another person while adding and subtracting nothing. And the closer, the more intimate the relationship, the harder it is, because we want to defend, we want to help, we want to serve, we want to provide, we want to look a certain way in somebody else's eyes. But if you can listen while witnessing, adding and subtracting nothing, noticing your own experience. I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling heartbroken, I feel like I want to jump in, I feel like I want to prove, I feel like I want to defend, I feel like I want to tell my point of view. You're noticing your whole experience, so you're witnessing your experience while you're witnessing their experience. And for one to be fully witnessed, which for a lot of us codependents, this is what was missing, and one of the things that was missing in our childhood was that we weren't properly attuned to. We weren't properly attuned to and recreated without interpretation or judgment. So now we can provide that space for other people, attuning to them, listening to them, without adding or subtracting nothing, which provides massive healing. With your listening, you can provide the space for another person to truly feel and experience themselves, and while also giving yourself the space to fully feel and experience yourself. And notice this week if you're listening through obligation. Notice if you're willing to give yourself permission to say, I'm not available to listen right now. Also give yourself permission to listen while adding and subtracting nothing. All right, thanks so much for listening to my thoughts, theories, and rants. Happy Friday. Have an awesome weekend. If you want to hear more about my Listen for a Living workshop, I'll put the link to my calendar link below, and we can talk about it. I can tell you all about it. The next one starts in September. You are awesome, and life is now.